Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this special bulletin. I'm a bit late on this one, probably almost 2 weeks late on talking about this, but it's in my queue and it's time for me to talk about it. Doom the Dark Ages is coming out this year, and me personally, I am thoroughly excited. Even with the, I guess, change of pace as making Doom Guy a tanky, up front, up close and personal combatant. I have no problem with that. It's going to be a new Doom with interesting kills and fun little kills. I especially like the gun. You put the skull in him. Anyway, but we're going to talk about this because apparently the game director had to respond to so-called woke ages criticisms and accusations. Now, where on earth could these have possibly come from? It's a Doom game. You spend the entire game since its inception running around slaughtering demons left, right, and center. Well, one of the lovely brain-dead, window-licking culprits of this is good old Yorch Torch Games. I've criticized him quite a few times in the past, and of course he blocks me because, you know, can't handle criticism, can you? After the uglified female character featured during the last Xbox Developer Direct, Doom the Dark Ages single-player campaign may be woke. Really? That's it. 1/2 a second shot. And this uglified female character, well, that would be this right here, because the picture on the right, that's what you would expect to see in a Doom game, right? Makes sense in a Doom game, not the militaristic, fighting for your life female on the left. That would definitely seem to me, at least, more appropriate. None of the characters in the Doom games have been all that attractive, and honestly, I seriously doubt anybody cares. When you're going into a Doom game, your expectations are, give me big boom, give me demons to kill. If you're able to accomplish that with Doom the Dark Ages, you can make all the sexy and ugly ladies that you want to. And again, I've said this before and I will continue to say it. Put all the nonsense you want into the game if it makes sense and the game is fun. Make it fun first, fuckers. It's where all this nonsense started. All because this lovely young lady, military background, obviously, because, well, she's wearing a uniform and it's a Doom game. So, based on the context, personally, again, I don't expect y'all to agree. Just throwing this out there. Looks fine to me. Give me demons to kill. But, of course, the likes of Yorch Torch Game just cannot help themselves. Engagement farming, blocking people that dare to criticize them. I mean, at least Melanie Mac, John Della Rose haven't blocked me yet. They're much better grifters than you, Yorch Torch. But let's see what the director had to say. The difficulty sliders. That's another thing. I'm not going to name names because I try not to call out specific YouTubers, specific content creators for their nonsensical and arguably, well, let's just say L takes. Massive, capital, boldface, L takes. But complaining about the difficulty sliders in a Doom game? Did you play Doom? Did you ever play Doom? Because the difficulty sliders have been there since day one. But let's move on. Don't just make the game easier. When Doom the Dark Ages releases later this year, I will be playing it. The game will feature multiple sliders, allowing players to tailor their experience to their desires, one of which I'm rather interested for. For those that are new to the series or just looking for an experience that's a little calmer, these options will allow them to significantly ratchet down the difficulty, much like you could do in the other Doom games. Be Gentle on Me, I think one of them was called at one point. Something like that. I mean, this is nothing new. How are people complaining about a difficulty setting in a Doom game? Now, if you want to talk about difficulty sliders in, I don't know, any game from FromSoft, sure, I'm right there with you, because they've never done it in the past. It's not part of their vision for the game. Talk about Doom? Nope, been there since day one. Your argument is invalid and nonsensical. Since, quote, woke is often used as a catch-all term for things that people on the internet just don't like, it really, I hate to agree, God, I hate this. It's starting to come across that way. That's why I don't use the term. I try to be more specific in my complaints. Ideological checkbox, ideologically driven, a message, modern audience, stuff like that. I choose not to use the term woke because it's a catch-all term that no one can agree what it means. And honestly, the way people are acting online who overuse, and I will say overuse, the term woke to describe something, it is unfortunately coming across like you're classifying it for games you just don't like. Or one little thing. Time and time again, I've seen other creators say, oh, there's a black woman as the protagonist. The game is woke. No, that's not how that works. Female protagonist, game's woke. No. Now you want to classify that as a red flag? I'm still going to question on you because are you afraid of women? We've had massive, major, popular franchises out there with female protagonists. Tomb Raider, not talking about what they're doing to poor Lara Croft in the current day iteration. What about, Metroid? Thoroughly excited for the next Metroid game. I'm buying a Switch 2 just so I can go back and play Metroid Dread. One of my first loves growing up as a wee little child on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Discovering that Samus taking the armor off and standing there in a bikini in 8-bit glory. Look, I was 10, all right? We've had female protagonists and we love them all. So coming across and saying that, female protagonist, game's woke, black man, woke, this, that, and the other, woke. Oh no, lesbian relationship, woke. Optional gay relationship, woke. I think we need to get away from that. Use our brains and have actual legitimate criticism. I do not think optional anything makes a game good or bad. Actually, the more options you have for a game, I find that even better. Because, as been said in the past, I think it was a Doom tweet that did this way back when. You are in control of the buttons you press. But I digress. Woke is often used as a catch-all term for things that people the internet don't like. That's what I was trying to say. It's coming across that way more and more, so we have to be careful. The people we argue against, the people who are definitely not on our side and call us the misogynist, sexist man-babies, will simply use these arguments against us. Be careful with your criticisms out there. Make them specific. Make them specific. This has prompted some to start calling the game the Woke Ages. Well, we like to point and make fun of them too. Director Hugo Martin directly addressed concerns about the game's difficulty level in a new video. I did watch the video, but we're going to go through some talking points. Here's his quote. Doom the Woke Ages. I've heard about this. I've seen the videos. Well, here's the thing about first of all, I don't agree with that. Well, most of the fan base doesn't agree with that either. We're going to point and laugh at the people who say that because they're foolish and nonsensical and probably ate too many paint chips growing up. Really, when you think about options like the slider, the policy was it has to be good for both the white belts and the black belts. I do like that statement. You can ramp up the difficulty all you want, or you can tone it down depending on your skill level. If you're going to allow you to slow down the game, we have to enable you to speed the game up. And that was a really good policy for everything. So everything in the game, you can either make things super hard or super easy, or just find that sweet spot somewhere in the middle. One of the things Martin said, and he might say that my quote might be in this article, but that got me very, very intrigued. He was talking about some of the other developers, the play testers in their office that slowed the projectiles down all the way, but turned up their power so that they were lethal, which I assume, or at least I'm gathering, that it made them one-hit kills. So you can mix and match, and the replayability, the replay factor for a game like this with those sort of sliders that you can tweak however you want to, I think is fantastic. And apparently you can adjust those sliders in the middle of the game. You don't have to start over. So if you're playing the game and all of a sudden it's a little too easy for you, well, let's ramp up the difficulty. And if you ramp it up too high and it becomes more frustrating than fun, you can turn it down. Again, this is something that's been, the difficulty sliders have been in the Doom game. And the sliders, the individual sliders, seem to me, I need to be careful with these qualifiers. To me, it makes it better. Martin went on to note how these slider options can be combined in unique ways. I believe this is where he talks about it, where slower does not always translate to easier. In fact, some slider combinations can actually make things more challenging for players rather than easier. In the video, director notes how members of the team, here we go, have experimented with these options, including combinations where projectile speed was greatly decreased while the strength was increased. That sounds like fun. It really enhances that three-dimensional shmup. Oh, shoot 'em up. You know, that the bullet hell experience that I can't read today, folks. Please bear with me. This kind of classic Doom is. Classic Doom is a three-dimensional bullet hell weaving between these slow-moving projectiles that hit really hard. How much fun is this? Are y'all excited for this game? I am thoroughly excited. It is going to be day and date on Game Pass, but I have every intention of either purchasing it on PC. I'll probably pick it up on PC. Yeah, definitely going to do that. Even with Game Pass Ultimate, I can play it for free, but I want to own this game. I'm a fan. I need to get back to my Doom Eternal playthrough so I can beat the 2 expansions. I beat the first one, played through the first expansion, and didn't get very far because I was terrible at the time. Back to the quote. That's what creates the maze, and that's what encourages players to move. Okay, so maybe it won't be as slow, tanky paced as we think it is. Or I guess you can, by adjusting the difficulty sliders, you can make it a more fast-paced Doom like Eternal was. Is that a possibility? The more he's saying, the more I hear about this game, and I think they just released a gameplay trailer. I know how to speak. Gameplay trailer that I might check out on a live stream very soon. Encourages the players to move is really the projectiles, and that's what we focus on in the game. The director compared the sliders to an equalizer on a radio. He also noted that the sliders should help give Doom the Dark Ages greater replay value, like I said. It's unfortunate, we're going to stop with the article there. It's unfortunate that you have particular individuals that act like the reverse of Anita Sarkeesian. Her famous quote, everything is sexist, everything is racist, everything is homophobic, and you have to search it out. People like George Torch and John Della Rose and Fandom Pulse, and yes, I'm going to call those out by name because it's not the first time I've done it. Hope you don't mind. This nonsense, I don't really have a problem with John F. Trent with his religious values. I appreciate them. I'm not interested in them when it comes to censoring games. Made a video on that. But when you approach every single video game release with this particular, oh my God, one little thing means it's woke, you're going to start looking like a fool. You want to criticize these games, these studios, the developers, whether it's in video games, TV shows, movies, comics, books, whatever. You want to criticize them, by all means, do so. Call out the foolishness, call out the stupidity, call out the red flags. But better be sure. Try to stay away. I guess if people do what they want to do. Those that overuse the term woke are blowing up in popularity, and I'm sitting over here in obscurity. Be specific with your criticisms. I personally have not seen a single thing, not one indication from the developer, from the advertising, from the marketing, that would consider this game modern day ideologically driven. And thinking about it, I'm hard pressed to figure out a way that this game could be made for the quote unquote modern audience. Now, that's something a lot of us do know what it means. How could this game be ideologically driven? What sort of messaging could they put to make this little quote right there come to fruition? Is that possible? That's a question for the comment section if you've made it this far. Thank you very much. I do appreciate the support. Is it possible? Could they possibly make Doom the Dark Ages, quote unquote, woke, as a lot of the anti-woke crowd sees it, or at least the over-the-top anti-woke crowd? Could they be proven correct? Let me know. Answer that question in the comment section if you understood the question anyway. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Leave a like, leave a dislike, do all those little things us YouTubers beg you to do. And hit that subscribe button. Maybe I should start saying that in the beginning. Anyway, bye.